Alright, YouTube, what is good? It's your boy Rebel back with another video, and today we are taking a look at LongCat image edit. So a few weeks ago, I covered the full-scale model of LongCat image, and we just kind of went over how the model generates on various styles and with various subjects. So this is the edit variant. This model achieves state-of-the-art performance among open source editing models, delivering leading instruction following and image quality with superior visual consistency. While you do maintain a lot of that consistency, especially with like likeness, this model does a very good job at locking in like subject likeness retainment. The key features for the model: it has superior precise editing. While this is true, when you introduce, multiple factors into the prompt, it does struggle with coherence. So it does have consistency preservation, has strong consistency preservation capabilities, specifically scrutinizes whether attributes and non-edited regions such as layout, texture, color tone, and subject identity remain invariant unless targeted by the instruction. Is well demonstrated with multi-turn editing. You're going to retain a lot of the detail, you're going to retain a lot of the subject likeness, everything's going to remain intact, and you're not going to get that like padded blurring effect that goes on. It also has strong benchmark performance, so it achieves state-of-the-art performance in image editing tasks while significantly improving model inference efficiency. The first thing you're going to need to do is go to the link in the description, and you're going to have to download the workflow and the model files. Before you do that, ensure that your Comfy is up to date entirely. But after that, you can head into Comfy and drag the workflow in, and you will get something that looks like this. So starting on the left, we have our load image node. We have our two text encoding nodes, positive and negative. You have your following guidance and model reference nodes. You can just leave those closed. You have your load diffusion node if you want to use the BF16 model, or you can bypass and do the Guff model if you want to do that, and then just hold shift and string over the string to the UNet loader. Then we have our clip, which is hosting the Qwen 2.5 VL7B FP8 scaled text encoder, and then we have our ae.savetensor VAE. Underneath that, we have our CFG for the patch of the model, and then we have our K-sampler. So in the K-sampler, we are going to be running 20 steps with a CFG of 4.5. I haven't messed with any samplers or schedulers. That being said, I'm sure that they can give you different results based on what you want. With a denoise of 1, do not change that. And then we just have our VAE decode and this bypass node right here. So all this is right here is the other two load image nodes. Otherwise, this workflow would just give you errors because it doesn't have anything plugged in here. So, and then you have these blacked out nodes, which are just, irrelevant nodes to the workflow. They just have to be in here. So I have a plethora of examples to showcase the stress test abilities of this model, because I do have a feeling this is going to be a very useful model for people. So we will get into some of those examples. So starting with a very basic first example, we have a style transfer to anime. A lot of the detail retainment is incredible here. The only thing that had changed was the eye color, which was kind of weird. Here we have a increase photorealistic detail and textures. So it kind of just gave me a beard. It did increase textures and detail a little bit. Here we have a tattoo impose onto the skin. I just like to see how textures react with tattoos. I like to see how real you can get a tattoo to look on somebody. So here we just have a edit of the sign into the man's hand. Nothing really special there. Here, I wanted to prompt specifically to get this gold bar into the teeth of the woman, and I was able to successfully do this one time out of about 15 generations of other people. So as far as adherence, I mean, it could be my prompt and that this was just the lucky one to make it, but here we have a transfer from night to day, pretty one-to-one. No likeness is lost in the image at all. Here we have a zoom out, pretty self-explanatory. The only thing I'm going to say, completely degraded face. Here's a funny output. I just wanted to test the model and see if it was able to do this, and it did. So I made the woman extremely obese, and she is extremely obese. Here we have a clothing edit. So I just wanted to change her clothes and see what we would get for the output. Pretty one-to-one. Here we have a style transfer to Picasso painting. I like to do this with all models to test its data set. Here we have a style transfer to Da Vinci painting. This is very, very, very good. Here we have just a animal in pose, so wanted to put a miniature elephant in her hands, and it did that. Here we have a zoom out to reveal a military bunker. Here we have a clothing change. So I just wanted to see what was in the model as far as like superheroes, and I tested a superwoman costume and executed it perfectly. So this was a weird output. I prompted to have the woman holding a fireball in her hand, and we got kind of a Doctor Strange electric spark kind of thing going on. I'm not really sure what that is. So here I just wanted to put a giant dog in the background, and it really kind of looks like a graffiti painting. I don't know why. Here we have an output that I like to test on multiple models for editing. So this is a transfer to photorealistic. Yeah, pretty photorealistic, but it just kind of looks painted in a way I can't explain. And here we have a great comparison that I like to test on all models. So I like to change the image to photorealistic. And then this is the output that Fire Red Image gave me, the 1.1 model. I will say that Fire Red did execute this better. This kind of looks like a robot chicken version. So here is a style transfer to comic book. So this is where I was speaking earlier about loading the prompt with too much information. Here is the prompt. Now, I know that's long-winded and pointless, but it's a stress test how much information the model can withhold and what it will spit out with that information. Everything technically exists. We are missing the second man, and there's random aliens that don't need to be in the shot. It is not, a completely correct adherence though. So for the last few examples, I wanted to test like physical objects and just variability. So this is a transferring of the car to a hover car. So I just wanted to change the wheels to, hoverboard wheels. For this one, I placed the car in a cyberpunk city. For this one, I just, changed the color of the car to red. For this one, I wanted to do the same thing as before with the change of the color, and then I added the woman holding the sign with the pink Nike sweatsuit and hat and shoes. So here we have the usual bottle of perfume. I wanted to test the text transfer, got it perfectly, style is intact. Here I wanted to do the same thing, but I wanted to just add something else into the prompt, so we changed the color of the perfume. This is a one-to-one edit, and this is like kind of what I'm talking about. This model's, consistency performance is impeccable. I just wanted to put this in a kind of like dreamlike scene for like, production purposes to see if, this would give us anything useful as far as background. All right, guys, that's all I'm going to have for you today. Just wanted to, get this workflow out to you guys and let you know that this model exists, because I feel like the LongCat image model got overlooked by a lot of things, including LTX 2.3. So being that it's a single image edit model, it's quick, it's iterative, it's balanced, and as you can see from my examples, it retained detail, it was very versatile. Give this model a chance. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please consider subscribing to the channel and leaving me a comment on the video to let me know how I did. You can also like the video. It genuinely helps the channel tremendously. So go ahead and download this workflow and these models and let me know how your edits are going with LongCat image, guys. All right. Thank you guys. Have a nice day. Bye.